Mike Parsons and Brad Gerlach, one of the world's most successful tow and surf teams, are racing to Baja, Mexico, in hopes of coming face-to-face with giant waves at the surf break of Todos Santos Island. 1,700 miles south, big wave riders Chuck Patterson and Scott Chandler have finally arrived at their destination of Puerto Escondido.
Nothing like the warm wind blowing in your face.
If swell predictions are correct, the waves heading towards Puerto should be huge. But nothing could prepare them for what they faced on their last visit to this powerful break. Back in 2006, Chuck and Scott witnessed one of the biggest swells this sleepy beach town had ever seen.
Chuck and I got some surf last June 17th, I believe, that was pretty phenomenal down here. It's probably the biggest, they said, the beach break has ever been ridden.
Spectators watched the ocean turn from blue to brown as this powerful swell slammed into their beach.
This wave here can be extremely dangerous. You know, there's a lot of people have died here.
Out of all the professional tow and surf teams throughout the world, only 3 were lucky enough to have followed this swell to Puerto. Chuck and Scott happened to be one of them.
I've never seen the water come up across the road, and I've heard stories of it, but I've never seen it.
Tables and trash cans and furniture, and to see the water coming up to the steps of the hotels. It was the first time I ever seen them bring in the military down here to close the beach off. They actually put the tape along the beaches. I watched 10 military guys in a Humvee almost wash away.
But where most people would see danger, these guys saw the potential. Not only did the swell make a direct hit, but it carried with it the XXL award-winning wave for Tube of the Year.
For me, I mean, I've been coming here a long time, and I think Chuck and I are really anticipating is that this swell that's going to be coming will be like the swell of June 2006.
You know, that's a big gamble, so it is pretty unreal that everything's come together so far. Now it's Mother Nature's part to bring us, you know, what we dream of, and hopefully that's what we're going to see the next couple days.
Just up the hill from Puerto Escondido's famous beach break is the private compound and training facility that Chuck and Scott call home when staying in Puerto.
Senor Diddy!
Oh, it's my surf buddies! Come on in!
Tim Diddy is an old Mexican hand and has been coming to Puerto for decades. As Chuck and Scott's friend and private sponsor, he's provided the team use of his compound, built on 400 acres above Puerto Escondido's famed Zicatela Beach.
Passports!
Diddy,
$2?
you know, Diddy's just, he's an unbelievable friend and a wild guy. He's a guy that's very different. He's a guy that's very helpful, a guy that cut off his left arm for you.
Welcome to Diddy City.
Come check out the Shangri-La. We've got the beautiful casa over here, alongside with the pool. Chickens to the right.
Yeah, we do have fresh eggs every morning.
Yes.
And off in the distance, it's not Bigfoot. Like there he is, over there.
What's happening, Charlie?
This is Charlie the bro. She's pregnant. She's due in October.
Yeah, dog's good.
You smile, say cheese. Right. If you don't have anything to feed her, watch, she's gonna go in the house. There you go, folks. Bro in the house.
Though Diddy City's many distractions are tempting, There's plenty of work to be done before the boys hit the surf soon to be pounding Zicatella's sandy shores.
Yeah, this thing's kind of dead, taking off. It's taking a little while to get going where it shouldn't be. Last time I pulled it out, there was palm fronds all wound up in there. And the prop, which one is it?
At a fearsome beach like Puerto, one of the most important pieces of equipment is the watercraft.
If your personal watercraft isn't in top shape, you're looking at getting a beating.
Unlike reef breaks, which have relatively safe channels on either side of the wave's peak, a beach break offers no safety zone.
Tow-in surfing is a relatively new adaptation to Port Escondido. I think one of the main reasons was they thought, we can't get out there on a jet ski. It's like, you know, driving a truck through a minefield.
Taking the ski out at Puerto was really, really challenging. When it gets big, you have waves that, you know, break everywhere. You know, white water's like 20 foot high, and when you're going out, you and your partner work together, really threading the needle back and forth.
As a surfer, you're trying to figure out, okay, it breaks over here, okay, are there any rocks over here? What do I got to deal with? You're looking at all the hazards, all your fear. And the fear is actually, there's no rocks right there, and there's the fear is the wave.
Punching through these waves, the wave comes really fast at you, even the whitewater section. So punching through these waves, the trajectory of the ski goes straight up, and you're trying to do it as smooth as possible because you have a passenger on the back. And the ski will go straight up, and then it comes down and slams, you know, on top of the sled. And it's just gnarly because you just kicked out of a wave and you got picked up by your partner and you want to get out as fast as possible, and you're risking bruising your ribs, you know, just to get out. You're going, 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 and it's like, oh, I can make this, and then suddenly it just jacks up in front of you. And there's no way. You know, you want to get out there as fast as possible, but it doesn't necessarily always happen. Anywhere when it's really big, you know, it's challenging, and anything can go wrong, and that's why it's really important that we train together to keep ourselves, you know, safe.
You can do all the outdoor exercises that you want, but really the only way you can test your lungs is to be in the water, to where you can't cheat, you can't breathe underwater. When you're surfing 30 or 40 foot waves and you fall on one, you better be able to hold your breath.
The wave holds you to the bottom and then pops you up last minute, so you don't want to go rush in and grab your guy. So at the same time, it's really important to be patient as well, because you're looking for him and you're looking at the wave behind you. There's a lot of turbulence and water rushing around, and almost like a washing machine.
Which means I gotta grab him hand to hand, fling him up on the rescue board that will be on the back of here, and go.
And this is about as rough as it gets, as far as when you get yourself in a bad situation.
Farther north, the U.S.-Mexican border crossing might be a familiar ritual for Mike and Brad, but a trip to Todos is always a roll of the dice.
Yeah, well, here we are on the border, international border.
Man, you're excited, aren't you?
You love that? Celebrate our way in.
Yeah. Well, lots of fun has been had on this side of the border. Miguel Parsones. Need to talk to Miguel. You know everything. Looking on the internet and paying attention, man, on the phone all the time, talking. Sometimes phone drop out. He's still talking.
Back to the fog. It's just hovering on the coast. Fog is our biggest nemesis, huh?
Yeah.
The fog. It's locked in, huh?
Yeah, you're not seeing Todos.
We've sat out at Todos a lot and waited for hours for the fog to lift. We know the waves are huge and we can't see them, and you hear them. It's a pretty eerie feeling, actually.
Thick fog draping the coast of Baja isn't a good sign for Mike and Brad. Before chasing any swell, Mike checks in with global surf guru Sean Collins, whose company Surfline.com pioneered modern surf forecasting.
Yeah, Snips, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Sean, how are you? I'll call Sean Collins a bunch. He'll say, okay, it looks like it is going to happen. The winds are going to be this, the direction's this. We'll start to figure all that out, and then we'll start working on some logistics. I'm doing good. We're just cruising down there right now.
Mike and Brad, they don't really check in unless there's waves. You know, I won't hear from them for about a month. If it's flat, then all of a sudden if there's a swell or something on the horizon, you know, then immediately it's like calling.
Kind of gear up and head out there tomorrow, and then, so I was just checking with you.
This winter has been really poor. You know, we've been doing this for about 30 years now, and this is probably the bottom two.
So that was Sean Collins from Surfline, and it wasn't very good news. The one encouraging thing he did say was that the direction of the swell is so west, which is good for Todos, that it wouldn't really register on the buoys up north just yet. So we still have a little bit of hope.
See? Who made up cross your fingers?
I don't know.
Tomorrow morning, Mike and Brad will launch their watercrafts from the El Corral Hotel and Marina in Ensenada. With any luck, the fog will burn off and they'll motor into some killer waves off Todos Santos Island. Up next on Wave Chasers.
Todos Santos, Mavericks, you know, Piahi, most of those waves, they're primarily about the drop.
Out here, you'll get waves up to 70 feet tall in the face, maybe even a little bit bigger than that.